welcome to Little Stinkers. And I'm Larry.
I'm Bonnie.
And this is our little stinker, Maggie. So anyway, she's a little squirmy right now. So anyway, bye-bye, Maggie. All right, hopefully she doesn't sit on the camera. Today we're going to be dissecting the corpse of a real stinkeroo. And this is our third episode, amazingly enough. And this one's called Fun in Balloonland. Fun in Balloonland. Yes, the most deflating experience of my adult life and my career in show business as a movie reviewer. And it's only been 3 months, but I don't care. This is the worst experience of my career as that. Now, this film was made in 1965. But it was released in 2009. Can you imagine that? It took them 40 years to get up the nerve to actually release this stupid thing. Anyway, it was directed by Joseph M. Sonneborn Jr. Of course, it had to be a junior. He never directed another one. He had the good sense to do that. But there was no sequel, thank goodness. One attempt at cinematic glory, and the guy fails miserably. We were sure he was possibly assassinated after that, and probably for offending the movie gods. But anyway, it stars a little boy named Sonny, and his stage name, not his real name, because he had the good sense to, at 5 years old, to bask in obscurity for the rest of his life. And anyway, the other star, and I use the term loosely, is Dorothy Brown Green. As the narrator. She was absolutely terrible. No enthusiasm. She slurred her words, probably in the cooking sherry, remember Julia Childs on the cooking show? She used to drink some of her cooking sherry. We were absolutely green at Ms. Green's performance. She did 3 other films, believe it or not, equally bad as a narrator, and from 1965 to 72, and then totally disappeared. And we think that maybe she was institutionalized, and probably for the best. Sonny quit the biz after this one performance, possibly due to PTSD.
Okay, the genre is fantasy. The storyline, Sonny falls asleep while his mom reads him a bedtime story. And then he wakes up in Balloonland, a magical world with giant balloon people, animals, and other creatures. He meets a king who introduces him to an octopus, mermaids, and a big fish, ballet dancers, square dancers, and Native American big balloon head people. Sonny, dressed as a cowboy, starts shooting everything with his cat pistol, which was normal for that time period, but odd for today's sense of morality. There are jump cuts galore as Sonny changes clothes from his street clothes to golden underwear. We thought he was a Mormon to cowboy clothes.
Oh, I want to insert something here. You know, the Mormons, they're required to wear golden underwear. It's part of the deal, and that's the truth, the total truth.
Then suddenly we are in the middle of Thanksgiving parade in Philadelphia for the second half of the movie. No second act, no crisis resolution, just a boring half-an-hour parade. At least the first half of the movie had a germ of a plot, as slow, plodding, and dreary as it was.
So, there is no narrative thread that connects these two halves. It's just one to the other. There's nothing that connects them. It's basically a home movie with no redeeming social value whatsoever, except for historians that do research on life, in the boring early 60s, before the counterculture revolution took over with all the yippies and everything. And that was a little more interesting then. But this was before that. So one positive note about the 5-year-old Sonny. His memory was quite impressive about how he memorized dialogue. Mm-hmm. However, he mumbled a lot, so that kind of took away from it. It wasn't so great after all. Mm-hmm. But Anyway, he needed a dialogue coach to improve his articulation. The movie did not move us at all. Absolutely dreadful. But, and it's a big but, it might be delightful for kids under the age of 6 and certain childish adults.
No.
Oh, anyway, but I didn't like it. Basically, this film is a drunk mother reminiscing about her hideous home movie of a kid's boring school play and boring parade. A little known fact, 85% of all films are totally lost. Totally. I mean, they're gone.
Wow.
Yeah. So how is this piece of crap? How did it ever escape being incinerated?
Yeah.
We were just wondering, like, of all the movies that were ever saved, why this one? So, anyway.
I'm not sure if this is the worst movie I've ever seen because it doesn't qualify as a movie.
No. And the film cost nothing to make unless, of course, you count the millions of dollars in therapy these poor kids had to undergo after completing the movie. God, it's, you know, I hear the CIA use a theme song in the Afghanistan interrogations.
Poor lighting, sound, editing, acting, narrating, and poor judgment were used in the making this unforgettable flop.
Flop is, yeah, biggest flop I've ever seen. You need a massive dose of something just to sit through this 52-minute nightmare. Mm-hmm. Of course, we were totally sober.
Were we?
Yes, we were. I actually could hear the ghost of Ed Wood howling in the distance. Now, that's for you insiders. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh. This movie makes me want to read more books.
And how? I want to read more books, too. But hopefully we'll get over this little brief trauma. It's now time to sing you a brief sample of the film's theme song. It'll give you an idea of what we had to undergo here. Ready? A 1 and a 2 and a 3. We had great fun in Balloonland, down in cow jumping over the moonland. Look at this film, ain't it ducky? Hey kids, now aren't we lucky? Actually, we are not. Whew. After careful consideration of about 1.5 seconds, I generously give this film a 9 on the stinkometer. Yeah, 10 being the worst rating.
I give it a 10. Because it really sucked.
It sucks.
It really.
I mean, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. You wouldn't recommend it to your worst enemy, would you?
No, I would not.
Well, wait a minute.
I wouldn't recommend it to my worst enemy. Wait, maybe I would.
She probably would.
Maybe.
Yeah.
With that, we bid you all adieu until the next episode of Little Stinkers.
Little Stinkers! Woo! And may all your days be stinkless. Ta-ta.
Bye.